the gym regularly, making gains, smashing targets, breaking personal bests, personal records is fantastic. It really is. It's all well and good, but there is a downside to this which you may or may not be aware of. That downside is no, no, obviously not. But on a more serious note, there is, in fact, a downside, a negative side of a religious gym routine. Well, maybe a few in that you have to sacrifice time, and maybe you can't be as sociable as you might want to be otherwise. But that's not what I'm really getting into right now. It's more of a psychological, more of a, well, I suppose, personal well-being and self-awareness detriment in that. I found it personally over the years, and I've also seen it as well in well, some of my friends, definitely some of the people I follow, be it on Instagram or YouTube, other online sources, and that is, the bigger you get, the stronger you get, the tougher you get physically, but mentally you become more delicate. Not all the time, but definitely a lot of the time, because as you inflate yourself physically, you're also inflating the ego that is within your mind, that little voice which tells you you're not good enough, but also at the same time that you're too good, and anyone who doesn't want you, or any employer who doesn't want you, or anything which doesn't want you, is wrong. So it tells you you're both not good enough, but also that you're too good. It's kind of like a little devil and the angel, the animated devil and angel sitting on your shoulder, like in Peter Griffin and Family Guy, or in the classic Disney movies where they have. I can't think of any Disney movies in particular, but you know what I mean, where there's a little devil and angel, and they're giving advice, good advice and bad advice, to the person who has them on their shoulder. Anyway, that's beside the point. The point is, I've found from personal experience, and from what I've seen as well, what I've seen around me, the more you train, the bigger you get, the stronger you get, the more delicate you can become in terms of ego, because your sense of self-importance, and what you believe you're worth, definitely gets bigger, for better or worse. And this can lead to a lot of frustration, a lot of resentment, bitterness, irritation, anger, disappointment, delusions of self-grandeur, a whole host of things. Maybe you've come across this before, maybe not. Definitely something worth thinking about. And like I said, it has appeared in my life numerous times, but in recent years, I've become aware of it now. In fact, it was actually talked about recently it was Mike Tyson, whenever he was on Joe Rogan's podcast. It was the podcast where it was before he had made his comeback, and he was telling Joe that he was too scared to come back and train, because he knew he had something within him. I think he actually used the word ego himself, but he knew that whenever he started training, he wouldn't be the same person, and he was scared of that person. He did not want to become that person again. And then ultimately he kind of did become that person again whenever he came back out of retirement and prepared for that fight against whose opponent's name I can't remember. But the point is, his ego did inflate, yes, but he was aware of it, so it didn't have the same grasp over him, didn't have the same control over him. He was effectively the master of the ego rather than the other way around, which is more often than not the case. So it's just something to be aware of, especially if you're into, say, going to the gym, getting strong, getting big. But not just that as well, other things as well. You could be, instead of going to the gym, you could be, say, like a really, really good musician, or expert in some other craft or field. And you might find the better you get, the more proficient you get in said field, the more competent you get, the more confident you get, but also possibly the more egoic you may become. It's just something to be aware of. But whenever you become aware of it, you basically free yourself from the chains that were cast by the ego. You can set them aside, you can set the ego aside, you can observe it. You dissolve it by the shining light of your consciousness, to quote Eckhart Tolle in The Power of Now. Definitely very helpful, very relevant for everybody, and something just to think about in your spare time. Anyway, that's enough rambling for me today. Hopefully you gained some degree of value from this video today. And again, as always, thanks again for watching. All the best, and take care.